Hey guys, Mamie here for part 4 of our series, and we have one part left. So today we are going to use these two doggies for our card, and I'm going to be watercoloring them with my Derwent Ink Tints pencils, colored pencils. And so they are watercolor color pencils. And so you can see how I'm going to use them here on this card. There's a few ways that you can use these pencils. I'm going to stamp the dogs out in VersaFine, and VersaFine is a nice, bold, wet ink, and it's good for watercoloring. So I'm going to stamp that out, and then you want to make sure that it's nice and dry because I am using watercolor paper, and the impressions, it's hard to get a good impression on watercolor paper. And since I have two stamps on here, it's even a little bit more difficult, but it just takes a couple of times for me to push over the image and make sure that I got a good impression there. And it looks like I have a nice dark impression, so I'm going to go with that. And so you want to make sure that you have it nice and dry as well. And this is my water brush I'm going to be using. And here is a swatch I've made, and we're going to be over here on the right side with the darker colors, the browns and things like that. I'm going to use the color Bark, which is fitting for this image, and then I'm also using the color Willow. And that's going to be for basically the body of the animals, of the dogs. And so what I do here, and I'm only going to talk through just a little bit of it, and then I'll let you kind of listen to some music and watch the rest of the coloring. It doesn't take a long time, but you want to kind of build the layers up because it is watercolor and you can't really see, exactly what you're dealing with until you pull the color out. And so it's good to do a couple of layers. So I did do a couple of layers on this. And so the first layer, I'm just going with my dark pencil in here and putting it in where the shadows would be. And so I'm just kind of going around the outside a little bit and then increasing the areas where there is some shadow already there given by the artist to show where the shadows would be. And so I'm going to fill in the shadows on him, and then I'm going to fill in the shadows on the big dog. So I'm not sure what kind of dogs these are. Maybe like a terrier and like a boxer. I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, so I'm filling in the darkest areas here on the big dog as well. And so as you can see, it's very simple, and you can just kind of follow along with what I'm doing here, and just kind of, you can figure out the technique just by watching what I'm doing. And also I wanted to mention that I have this sore on my hand that I've had through the entire series, and I really didn't pay attention to it until I was just looking at my hand, and I was like, oh gosh, that looks really bad. I wonder I wonder how obvious it is. And it's very, very obvious. I was putting in hardware on all the cabinets in our kitchen. So the drill that I was using was really wearing a blister into my hand. So that's what that horrible thing is on my hand, in case anybody's wondering. So yeah, I work with my hands a lot, not just doing cards. But anyway, so here I'm going to start filling in the color. I'm pulling the color that's already there from the sides, and I'm just pulling them in. And I'm working in the darkest areas first, and then trying to and then I'll wipe off some of that dark color before I go into the middle areas or the highlighted areas, so that I don't drag that color all the way in. And so you'll see me continue to wipe off color from my pencil, because it's kind of hard to see how much I have and if I have too much and stuff like that. So it's very simple just to wipe it off, and then just keep going from there. So yeah, so just stay tuned, and I will catch you whenever the coloring is done. Okay, and we are back here, and I have the dogs all colored up. And I just wanted to mention that if you saw me putting my water brush straight to the pencil, that's just another way that you can color as well. That way you can just pick just enough color to go into the areas that you want to without oversaturating any areas that you don't want to get too much color. So here I just use my VersaFine ink, and I just inked up this stamp that says World's Best Friend. And I think that came out very nice. And I wanted to layer this on top of some craft cardstock, and so I realized that I didn't really have any room left. These stamps are quite big, so I'm just trying to cut off as much as I can. I wish that I would have thought of that previous, because I don't like to cut it so close. But so that fit okay, and so I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more green and lay down a little bit of ground there, and so that way I can have a little bit of a background with the craft cardstock. So I'm just going to lay down some of my score tape here, and I'm using my score tape because I am out of my regular adhesive runner tape. So I hate to use my score tape, but that's all I have at the moment. So I need to go to the store ASAP before I use up all my good score tape. But anyway, it's good to use a nice thick tape anyway, especially for watercolor paper. But since I didn't really cover it in watercolor, it didn't warp so much. So anyway, this is really basically the whole card right here. I didn't really add very much embellishing or anything like that, or any embellishing really. And so that's pretty much the card, and I hope you guys are really enjoying the series, and I appreciate all of your comments and likes and subscribe. It's really been great. I've had a lot of feedback, and it seems like a lot of people really like to see these dogs, these crazy dogs. So I'm really happy to have been able to make these, and I'm glad everybody has enjoyed them. And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day.